Good morning, everyone. This is Chris, one of the radio hosts of Nintenbros. That is the show you guys are now listening to here on Radio WUMD. So good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming in to listen on this great Friday morning. Weather's beautiful. I'm ready to go. How about you, Josh?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. I am one of the other co-hosts here on Nintenbros. I go to Oakland University, but I'm here as a guest just for this special show. So let's get started, everyone.
All right. So pretty much what we've got going on right now is we're just kind of getting started. I'm going to have some music playing in the background in just a minute for you guys. I'm trying to get my phone case off so that I can actually plug it in. While I'm doing that, we're just going to kind of go through a little bit of an introduction about ourselves, how we kind of got into gaming, our first experiences with Nintendo, and our favorite series of game. So if you want to go ahead and take that away, Josh, I'll let you do that while I'm getting set up.
Alrighty. So I'd say my first thing that I got into with gaming would probably be the Game Boy Advance. That was my first type of handheld video game that I had. That was all my own. Other than I wouldn't consider the arcade. I guess you can consider my favorite game, though it would be at Great Skate, was the Simpsons arcade. I guess that's my first real type of introduction into video games, because I remember just going there and throwing all my quarters into that, trying to beat the game. And then my first experience with Nintendo would be the Game Boy Advance, playing the greatest game of all time, the video game of Treasure Planet, the Disney movie. That was very interesting. And I'd have to say that my favorite series would probably be The Legend of Zelda. Favorite game out of all of them would probably be either Twilight Princess or Wind Waker. Both phenomenal games in and of itself, and they definitely brought me into loving Nintendo as much as I do.
So for myself, my first experience with gaming was a great... I had a Super Nintendo and Nintendo 64 in my house, and then when I was about 5, we got a PlayStation 2. We never really had a lot of the big games, so we didn't really have Mario or Jak and Daxter on the PlayStation. But we did have some pretty good games. I do quite fondly remember Star Wars Rogue Squadron that I played when I was younger. And then we kind of got into, for me, my first experience with Nintendo was the Nintendo DS that I got for Christmas 10 years ago. And then, so I kind of sprung into New Super Mario Brothers. I do remember having a Rabbids game for the DS. It was like one of the first ones that ever came out. And it was really kind of just really kind of what got me into Nintendo. But really what my favorite Nintendo series is most definitely Pokemon. One of the things everybody kind of knows me for on campus around here is the Pokeball backpack that I would walk around with as an orientation leader. So I'm kind of known as the Pokeball guy on campus. Speaking of, I'm actually currently a junior studying computer science here at the University of Michigan Dearborn that they run here on campus. What about you, Josh?
Like I said before, I'm going to Oakland for computer science. Going to be finishing up here in probably about a year-ish, year and a half. I'm just taking my time, doing the same thing pretty much Chris is doing, computer science.
And I've got one more year than he does. I'm a junior, so I've got a couple more years going. But aside from that, the whole premise of the show pretty much kind of spawned from an idea that I had. I was like, I kind of want to get involved with radio here at the university. Kind of would be a cool experience, and I kind of reached out to Josh, and I was like, hey, you want to do a show with me about Nintendo? and he was all for it, which was pretty kind of cool. Now, I will offer a disclaimer now. We are in no way, shape, or form affiliated with Nintendo. It's just Josh and me. We're two dudes that are crazy fanatics for Nintendo, and we just want to keep up with Nintendo news and kind of keep you guys in the loop and kind of give our own opinions about what we've got going on, for at least from our perspective.
Yeah, and we'll be talking about Nintendo obviously, but here and there we'll throw in some other news as well from the other developers and publishers like Xbox and PlayStation and all the other developers and stuff. And I just want to say a little shout out to our boy listening right now, Cowboy. He's one of our great friends from work, and he texted me. He's like, "Oh, I just want to say hi to him because he's one of the best." Thanks, Roomy.
So today's show is kind of a pretty big one. If any of you guys out there that are listening are pretty big with Nintendo, you probably are aware of a pretty recent, as of this recording, is a pretty recent Nintendo Direct that happened on the 13th of September. So we're going to kind of go through everything that, well, most everything that came out of that show, and we're going to kind of give our opinions on a few of the things. I was going to say something else, but I forgot it. I forgot it.
Well, let's go. Let's start. So starting out from the beginning of the Direct, Nintendo threw out one of the big players that is going to be launching out here pretty soon, near the end of November. We have Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon coming for the 3DS systems. And
so one of the big things that they talked about was the new story that's going to be coming out. There's a new legendary Pokemon that came in. They didn't really give a lot of information about it. They just kind of revealed it. It was kind of information that we'd already known previously, but there's a new legendary Pokemon called Necrozma that is possessing both Solgaleo and Lunala, and there's an involvement with that, which kind of kicks off the bringing back what we had seen from back in Black and White 2, where you had Kyurem being gene spliced with either Reshiram or Zekrom. So they're kind of bringing that mechanic back, which is a pretty interesting thing. It'll be interesting to see how they do it this time around. But I kind of liked when they did that with Kyurem, so hopefully they'll do it equally as good with Necrozma and Solgaleo and Lunala.
yeah, I'm kind of excited to go back to Alola. It was a good region. It was a very different from the rest of the series, but I mean, it's not it's not without its changes and everything. But I thought it was a good change of pace for how many different Pokemon games are all you can claim that they go around and do the same thing, but this was a good change of pace, and I'm excited to see how they're going to continue that with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon.
And then of course they've got new areas to explore, things like the Valley of Pikachu, or the new beach with the surfers that they kind of touched on briefly. And then one of the big things that they talked about, at least in terms of bonuses that you can get for the game, they're running a special Rockruff event for the launch of the game. That's the new Lycanroc Dusk form that they have available, that was revealed a couple months ago. They're going to have a special Rockruff that would evolve into that Lycanroc. And then there was a couple other things that they talked about. I think the digital release comes with 12 Quick Balls, as a bonus for being an early adopter of the new games.
Yeah. I mean, but 12 Quick Balls. Come on, give me something more, Nintendo, please.
Right.
But that's okay. But something that was interesting, though, that I wanted to point out a little bit was the new Ultra Beast, the UB Burst and the UB Assembly. I don't know. UB Burst is a little weird, for my opinion.
Yeah, it seems like it's a version of the first one. It was, what was the first Ultra Beast? Looks kind of like a jellyfish.
Yeah.
They kind of just like made it like a super version of that one. But the UB Assembly, that one, it's a building.
Yes.
So that's interesting to say the least. And then last but certainly not least, you guys probably already aware of the launch of November 17th of this year.
So we're looking forward to that. And of course, too, they also said in terms of Pokemon as well that Silver and Gold are coming back, launching back on the 3DS. Of course, it's on the eShop. It's going to be on September 22nd. You're able to pre-order it now, which is pretty cool. And with that, you can receive Celebi in both Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon when it comes out as a gift. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited to get that and continue to complete my Pokédex.
So we're gonna the next topic that we got is the 3DS quick headlines. We're gonna kind of rapid fire these because just in the same way that they did with in the Nintendo Direct. So first they have Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga and Bowser's Minions. It's a remake of the old classic Mario & Luigi game with a new mode that actually stars minions of Bowser, so like a Goomba and a Koopa. They also have new amiibo that are going to be featured with that.
Yeah, the Goomba and the Koopa.
And that launches on October 6th.
And that'll be pretty cool. I'm actually excited for that. That's a really that was actually one of the first Game Boy games that I had in my collection that I could say was my own. That was a pretty cool adventure, I'd say. I've always liked the Superstar Saga collection of all the Mario games. The the RPG model that they have in terms of Mario. It's like it keeps Mario fresh in so it's not just a side scroller. Mario's able to do a whole lot, and with that. I'm glad that they're remaking it. It looks pretty cool. I'm excited to go and save Peach's voice again from Cackletta. It'll be good. And I'm kind of excited a little bit too because the amiibos in the game, in addition with the Goomba and the Koopa that are coming out, you're able to earn new equipment and items. And well, not to brag for anybody, but I have all the amiibo, all of the amiibo. It's a little bit of an addiction. It's bad.
Yeah, I do remember when they were first coming out how much you were on eBay looking for those things. That was
it was
that
bad.
I wouldn't call it necessarily a dark time for you, but it was definitely something that was something of concern. That's for sure.
Well, I have them all right now, and until they start launching new ones, which unfortunately. I haven't been able to pre-order the new Shovel Knight ones yet because they haven't come out with that, but they announced them. I'll be getting those soon, but everything else I have set aside money for, so that's pretty cool.
So next we've got Kirby Battle Royale, which is a new multiplayer game from the Kirby series that has a battle arena mode that is much like a last man standing sort of a style of a fight. In addition to that, they have the Ore Express mode, which is a mine expedition where if you collect the most ore the fastest, you would win. And there's also a single-player mode available for that game as well. And that launches on the 19th of January in 2018.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting game. I've always had a soft spot in my heart for Kirby. It's going to be pretty good, I think. I've always enjoyed the 3DS ones that have come out so far. I need to still beat a couple of them, but overall, happy 25th birthday, Kirby, and hope to see that coming out here soon.
Next, we have Yokai Watch 2, Psychic Specters, which is an update to the existing Yokai Watch 2 game that allows things such as Oni Evolution, and you'll also be able to get a new yokai called Jibanyan S.
So, next on the list we have a game that's already out on the phones on the Apple and Android devices that you have. The Latent Mystery Journey, Catrail and the Millionaire's Conspiracy, which has launched already over in Japan, but at the same time, it's coming over here. And for you getting it for the 3DS, you get an exclusive costume, which is pretty cool. That's going to be coming out October 6th. A little bit excited for that. One of my friends really likes the Latent games, and it's cool that they're going in a new direction with his daughter. So we'll be seeing that here pretty soon.
And then the quintessential Minecraft, which is basically on everything else, that's going to be coming to the new 2DS and 3DS, and it's actually a digital title that's available now, but they will be releasing a physical version of the game later on. And there's a few different skins and textures that are available with the 3DS, 2DS version of the game that you can't get anywhere else.
Which is actually pretty cool. Which is actually surprising. I wasn't expecting this to come to the 3DS family at all, but I'm kind of glad it is. It just helps to bolster, third-party support for any of the Nintendo systems in general. And I mean, not saying that the 3DS doesn't get enough third-party support, because it does, but it's good to see that Microsoft and Nintendo working together to help to bring Minecraft to the 3DS, which is actually pretty cool, because then you have it portable, other than it being on your phone or something. But you get that, which is pretty cool. Mario Party 10. Mario Party Top 100 is the next game we're going to be talking about here. That's coming out for the 3DS, which is actually pretty cool. I'm kind of excited. It's going to be switching out mini games from all the past 10 Mario Party games, and you're going to be able to download play off your 3DS with 3 other players, and it's going to be the best of all the mini games throughout the whole history of Mario Party. And supposedly boards will return too, so it's not going to be just the mini games. You're going to be able to play off the boards and stuff, so that will be pretty fun and a good time with Mario Party, because it ain't a good party unless it's a Mario Party.
And kind of a side note, just to mention that these are the most popular mini games from all 10 of the games. So it's not just a collection of 100 random mini games. It's 100 of the best popularity-wise from everybody's favorite Mario Party games. Next we have Metroid: Samus Returns, which actually launched today, and it's a new side-scroller Metroid game, kind of bringing back the whole idea of Metroid, and kind of in a way is a dose of the Metroid games in preparation for Metroid Prime 4, which is we really haven't heard a lot about yet, but I would imagine probably in the coming weeks we'll hear more about that.
No, that'll be good. I'm excited to play the game. It's a great return for Metroid, since the previous Metroid game, which we won't talk about, wasn't really a Metroid game at all. It was just a multiplayer thing with Metroid's name slapped on it, and then before that on the Wii console, another Metroid game that wasn't superb. So it's good to see Samus return to her original gaming and doing a side-scrolling adventure, and of course get 2 new amiibos as well. You got the Metroid and Samus, which will be cool to use in the game. So going to be hearing about that here probably pretty soon. I'll be playing it. I'll tell you all about it.
And then next on the list we have all the Atlas RPGs that are going to be coming in early 2018. We have things like the Alliance Alive, Etrian Odyssey 5, which has a demo available right now, Shin Megami Tensei's Strange Journey Redux, Radiant Historia Perfect Chronology, which also will have available a special edition with an art book and a decal sheet. If I'm not mistaken, didn't they have word of a steelback case for the game?
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure on that. I think that was mentioned.
Next on the list we have Apollo Justice, Ace Attorney, and this is going to be an origin story. So just like our famous attorney Phoenix Wright, it's going to be his companion Apollo Justice. We're going to get that origin story coming out here in November of this year. That's going to be pretty interesting for all those who love the Ace Attorney series. It's going to be another good addition, and I'm excited to see the origin story of Apollo.
And much in the style of Hyrule Warriors coming to both the Wii U and the 3DS, Fire Emblem Warriors will be launching on October 20th for the Nintendo 3DS as well. So we'll have 2 ports of that game, much like we had back when Hyrule Warriors was coming out.
So, but they'll be launching the same day as the Switch title as well, of the same name. So that'll be for whoever has one or the other systems. You'll be able to play the great story of Fire Emblem Warriors, and we'll talk about the Switch version a little bit later.
And then, last but certainly not least, I kind of dropped this at the end and did a little quick segment on this. The new Nintendo 2DS XL is going to be coming out with a new color. They call it Creamsicle, and it's a primarily white system with orange accents tastefully placed around the system. So that's going to be a new color option that's going to be available for everybody, kind of keeping with the theme of Nintendo bringing out literally 7 or 8 ranges of colors for all their systems, at least in terms of the handhelds. That's been kind of a Nintendo thing for quite a while now.
And I think it'll be a good addition for anyone who doesn't have a 3DS system in anything, because they're starting to launch a lot of these new 2DS systems that are the new and the XL. So you're going to be able to have better processing power on it, better graphical power. So you're going to be able to play a lot of the newer games that need a little bit more of that push in hardware. So if now's the time to buy, because all these new systems are coming out with Nintendo for their 2DS family. So I mean, it's going to be pretty good. So I mean, the only real difference is that you're not going to just see it in 3D, but I mean, really, who plays in 3D all the time?
I know I'm not really one to play in 3D. A lot of the times it's sitting on off. One, because I'm trying to conserve battery, and 2, it really isn't something for me that really works out, because I wear glasses, of course, so there's a little bit of distortion with that. But it's a neat
idea that Nintendo has had to have 3D. Not everyone uses it, though. I mean, it's something that later on down the line, if it's something that they could use for virtual reality or something. But something innovative, which Nintendo's always great with, and happy that they're kind of falling away a little bit of pushing the 3DS, the 3D on it, and just saying, okay, yeah, hey, we have the system. It's got great graphical power. It's gonna be a little cheaper. You don't have to pay for the 3D. There you go. Here's a good time to buy.
Before we launch into the next topic, kind of got a message from another listener. My dad's listening in, and he kind of mentioned, kind of talking about how we first met, which is a really interesting story. I think it was wasn't it track back in middle school? It was like the first time we actually officially met, and then we kind of hit it off, and then from there we just kind of spiraled into a good friendship from there.
Yeah, no, it was, and this is where Chris gets his nickname that I call him all the time, Goomba, from. It was I was in 8th grade, Chris in 7th grade, and I think it was through my friend Andrew Hoffer. He had shown me this little tiny kid over in track. He said, "That kid's a Goomba." I'm like, "Oh, well, hi, Goomba," and I think the name just kind of stuck.
It's stuck ever since.
And
I'm probably gonna get a lot more people calling me Goomba from now on. But you, for the longest time, that's like, if you said it, and nobody was like, "Who are you talking to?" And it was a lot of the times, like at work, you would call me that. It was like the first couple times you did, they were like, "Who is he talking to?" So,
and it's funny now, because you used to be a tiny little kid, a little tiny Goomba, but now you're taller than me, and so now, well, I guess you're just a big tall Goomba. You ate a mushroom.
Or something like that. I don't know. And then just on a side note, you guys, we've got a little bit of music that I kind of added in a minute or two into the show. We're playing a selection of the Kanto reorchestrated soundtrack made a few years ago by a guy named Scotine, who's a big fan of Pokemon, and he kind of reorchestrated Red and Blue, the Red and Blue soundtrack. So that's what you guys are kind of listening to. If we pause for a second, you'll hear the music kind of come through.
Another shout out I want to do. Just got another text in. My friend up in Central, Go Chips, Zach Surma. Thanks for listening in, buddy. You're doing great.
All right, so the next topic that they kind of spent a bit of time on was Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And they did a pretty interesting way of introducing the game. They had one of the characters of the game actually do a little bit of exposition about the game. So we have a new region that they have selected for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 called the World of Alrest. And all of the civilizations live on top of these great big creatures of like landmass called Titans.
And it's kind of like Xenoblade Chronicles, the first one, where you're on top of these big, ginormous beings, and throughout your adventure, you're traveling, from a Titan to another Titan with different environments and nature and all this other stuff.
And then at the center of the world, they have a landmass called the World Tree, which is supposed to be a paradise. On top of that tree, kind of the center of the region, so to speak, that everybody kind of revolves around. They have 5 different kingdoms that they showed off in the Nintendo Direct. One of the kingdoms enjoys nature. One uses machines to control the Titans, and then one of them, interestingly, has a nefarious plot, so to speak, that nobody really kind of knows about other than that specific kingdom. And it all essentially revolves around every kingdom trying to find something called the Blade Edges.
Yeah, no, and so you're going to be starting out with your protagonist, Rex. He's a scavenger. He actually lives on the back of a Titan. He's not as big as the other Titans you'll be traveling around on in the game, who Rex calls Gramps, weirdly enough. But you're going to be playing as him, and you're going to be meeting up with your female companion, Pyra, who is going to be kind of starting your adventure because she's in search for this blade that is said to have mystical powers, such as the one that Sheik has in the first Xenoblade Chronicles game. So, but it's going to be a classic, classic RPG elements, just like the first one. And your support characters are going to be able to have attack, defense, and healing. And within that element, you're going to be able to use, they call it cores, and it's basically where your character, you use a core and you're going to be pretty much going Super Saiyan, in a sense, when you're fighting. So that's going to be pretty cool. You got the special edition of that coming out too, which...
And that's where the metal case was dropped. So I do apologize, I misstepped on the information. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is the game that's going to launch with the metal game case. It's going to have a 220-page art book that is hardcover. It's not a softcover book, so it's going to be a little bit more rigid than maybe that booklet that you got with Super Mario Maker for the Wii U, which was kind of a paper-bound book that I keep in my case just because I know those things are fragile. But last but certainly not least, this game will be launching on December 1st, so right in the middle of the holiday season, which is probably a really good placement for that.
Alrighty, we got one more tag to go in. We got Golden Goomba from WWT High School listening, and this is Chris's brother. I call him Golden Goomba because he's blonde, but he's still tiny, so I can still call him a Goomba. So no mushroom for you. Sorry.
And that's my brother. His nickname is Golden Goomba, but my brother's name is David. He's kind of going to get a shout out on the air. And I'm also going to give a shout out because I know he's listening in where he's at right now, and he's probably going to be getting out of that class right now. So hi, Mr. Dembinski. It's good to see you. That you're keeping all of the computer science going over there. And you're kind of the one that kind of got me into computer science, so that's really kind of awesome. So from there, we're going to kind of launch into the Switch headlines. Once again, we're going to try to do these rapid fire. We might pause for a couple of opinions, but I think what we're going to do is we're just going to read through our points and really kind of, if we see something that we want to talk about, we'll talk about that. So first and foremost, we have Splatoon 2 updates. Kelp Dome, a popular stage from Splatoon 1, is going to be coming back soon. There's also a new stage that's coming, the Snapper Canal. And they have a new weapon that's going to be coming out. The new weapon is called the Tentobrella. And it's an upgrade to the Splatbrella in the sense that it has a wider umbrella range. So it's a pretty wide spread to it. That includes, so it's all of the same mechanics of the Splatbrella added into with the wider umbrella, and I can already feel the brokenness of this weapon when it launches into the game. I'm cautiously optimistic about it. Hopefully it doesn't get abused too much, but I can already see that it's going to be problematic for the first couple days and weeks, at least until like put in another patch to balance the game again. That's going to be a little bit of an issue with that.
But I have an important question though right now. Are you a kid or are you a squid?
Well, I am neither kid nor squid. I think I'm an adult now. But
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. So I think I'm a kid.
Okay. So next we got Fire Emblem Warriors. So this is the Switch game. This is going to be the Switch port. So you're going to be stopped into Chaos Dragon, which is the main antagonist in the game. Lyn has been announced as a character in the game. Again, the special edition is going to be launched, and we'll have a metal game case. We'll have a card of some characters, and then a poster that's going to be launching with that. And they also announced Tiki and Chrom as amiibo that are going to be coming out with the game as well.
We're not sure what the amiibos are going to be doing in the game, but I'm kind of excited with all the different Smash amiibos that you're going to have, as well as Tiki and Chrom. That should be a good addition, kind of like what Hyrule Warriors did, where it gave you a good amount of specific weapons for those characters. So it should be pretty interesting and help you along in those games with those amiibo. Alrighty. Next on the list we have a game that is already out right now, and it actually launched with the game with the Switch back in March, which was a pretty cool game to play with some friends. Snipper Clips. There's gonna be a new DLC pack coming out here November 10th, and it's gonna kind of change up the mode in which you can play in the game. So the game itself is gonna, you're gonna change, if whoever's gonna be getting it, it's gonna change up. So that's gonna come with it. For those who already have it, it's just gonna be you can just get it through the eShop, download it for DLC on November 10th, and it'll be pretty cool.
And then a new game that I kind of found pretty interesting that they announced was a game called Morphe's Law. And it's got it's kind of based off of the Day of the Dead costume that they had for Team Fortress 2. And the goal of the game is to get the biggest character on the stage. What's really interesting is that there's not such a thing as killing your other characters so much as you shoot specific body parts, and that causes their body part to shrink while your body part will actually grow. So that it makes for some really interesting mechanics, because you get larger legs that'll allow you to jump higher. Bigger hands allow you for more accuracy. Things like a bigger hand, that's going to be pretty fun. But I looked at that. It's going to be releasing in winter of 2017. And I looked at that and I was pretty interested with that game. But
because it's kind of in the style of like Team Fortress 2. You got 4-on-4 players. it doesn't look too big of maps, so it's not going to be like, it's going to be pretty crazy in terms of, going around and, getting somebody. But, you can even shoot your own players on your own team to kind of help, gain an advantage towards the other team in terms of shrinking and growing said body parts. But this is actually a pretty good game that I think will be pretty popular when it comes out. I'm excited for it. But it's a good new mechanic that I think is pretty cool in terms of a new game. So I'm glad that it's coming to the Switch and will be portable, so I'll be able to play on the go.
So Rocket League, we already know, has been announced. They kind of released a little bit of information about the new cars that are going to be coming out. All modes that are available in all other versions of Rocket League are going to be available on the Switch. And there is cross-network play that was announced way back at E3. And there's going to be Mario and Luigi's caps that you can put on top of your cars. There's a Samus ship car that was announced. And they're releasing local wireless multiplayer. So they're going to be making good use of that capability of linking up to 8 Nintendo Switches systems together for some battle royale, survival, and besting your friends. And that's going to be releasing in holiday 2017, so right around November, December area, right around Black Friday-ish.
And with Rocket League, one of the things I was going to point out here in a little bit as well is, Nintendo's getting a lot of third-party that the Wii U really didn't get. So with the Switch, I'm excited that Nintendo's getting all these different people and being able to have all these developers put games on the Switch, even though some of them are already out, as you'll see in just a minute with some of the other games that we'll be talking about here for just a second. But at the same time, it's good to have these games, especially since they're portable. It kind of brings a new life into a lot of these other games, and especially with Rocket League, with the multiplayer, it's something that, hey, you get together with a couple friends, you all have a Switch, you all have Rocket League. It's going to be something, it's going to be cool to play around, and, yeah, so going to be excited for that. Thank you, Nintendo, for doing better with the Switch than you did with the Wii U.
So we're going to kind of, there's quite a few more things that we wanted to talk about. I think we're going to skip over a couple of things, just because for time constraints. I do want to mention that you guys are listening to Nintenbros live on Radio WUMD. So I'm Chris, and you're listening to the voice of Josh as well. So we've got a new... so Bethesda Games, of course, has already been announced as a partner that's going to be working with Nintendo and working on the Nintendo Switch. So, of course, we know Skyrim has been announced. We already know about the Champion Tunic, the Master Sword, and the Hylian Shield being available in the game. And you can also use those amiibo from Breath of the Wild to actually get those items. Or if you feel like you want to be a true spelunker of the world of Skyrim, you can actually just find those items in the game.
So just in case you don't have the amiibo, you're still able to get all the items that are specific to the Switch version of Skyrim, which is pretty cool. Then also, coming out of Bethesda Games, you got both Doom and Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus, which will be coming out in later of 2018. And with Doom, you'll be also getting online multiplayer, which is pretty cool. Like I said before, great that these third parties are coming in, especially Bethesda. They're a pretty big, third-party developer. Glad they're coming over to the Switch. It's pretty cool.
Then we have the Flip Wars update, which is going to have a new online battle mode and local wireless play added into the game. Then we have Arcade Archives, which features classic video games from the arcade cabinets of Nintendo's past. So things like versus Mario Brothers, versus Super Mario Brothers, versus Balloon Fight, Ice Climbers, Pinball, Clue Clue Land, and Punch Out, among others that they will probably be releasing later on. And that all, I think Mario versus Mario Brothers is going to be launching on the 27th of September. They didn't give us a confirmed date on any of the other games, or if they were going to be releasing more games after that.
Next up, They talked about the Breath of the Wild amiibo, one of my favorite topics, amiibo. I'll have to do a little segment about them a little later, at a later date. But it told us that with the 4 Breath of the Wild amiibos that are coming out on November 10th, each of them will give you gear that is going to be modeled after each of the Divine Beasts. We don't know what they necessarily do right now. I'm kind of interested in to see what they will do, especially since we'll be getting the DLC coming out here pretty soon, the second pack of that, with the Champions part of the DLC. So that'll be pretty interesting. And then next up, some sports games coming to the Switch. We have NBA 2K18, WWE 2K18, and FIFA 18 all coming out here. The NBA is going to be coming out September 15th, so today on the eShop, and October 17th in retail for the physical form. And then FIFA, we have a date of September 29th. WWE, we do not have a time just yet, but it will be coming here soon for those who want to play that. And then one more one we have is Pokken Tournament DX. It's going to be the game that launched on the Wii U, is getting ported over to the Switch a little bit, and it's going to be releasing on the 22nd. It's going to be adding a few new characters in there, a few new stages, but that's going to be pretty fun to play.
Alright, so just kind of an update. We're getting towards the end of our show, so we're going to have to unfortunately skip over a little bit of information on on our schedule. But one thing I did want to mention that we do have that's going to be a big title that's coming, that we don't have a title yet. We have a working title. It's going to be Project Octopath Traveler, which is coming from the developers that created Bravely Default. So we do have Square Enix working on this game,
and they're the ones that made Kingdom Hearts. So pretty cool. And that's going to be a Switch exclusive. And from the video that they showed, they're calling it HD 2D graphics. So it's got kind of like the a feel of a 16-bit game, but it's going to also have these 2D HD type environments that you're going to be playing in. The demo is available right now. I got to play it a little bit last night. Pretty awesome. I'm excited for it. Throughout that game, you're going to be able to play through 8 different stories with 8 different characters, and they're each going to have their own little mechanics in terms of how they fight throughout the role-playing game. And you're going to have some pretty cool mechanics that through a boost system. So like you're going to be able to multiply attacks or chain attacks, which was something that they pointed out in the video, which is pretty cool. And it's got some good stuff coming out here soon.
So we're going to have Switch headlines. They kind of continued on with those. We're going to do those real quick and then launch into our last topic for the day. So we've got the ARMS update. So it's going to be going to ARMS 3.0. We're going to have a new character that was announced, Lollipop, which was previously announced. She's got the Funchuk, Biffler, and Clapback arms that are available for her character, and they're going to release a customizable control scheme, so you can pretty much remap your controller to however you see fit. We've got Dragon Quest Builders, which was a big hit in Japan. It's an action RPG builder. You'll defend your territory from monsters. There's an exclusive builder mode, so this sounds a lot like Minecraft, survival and creative. And then there's a Switch exclusive item called the Saber Club, and that's going to be releasing spring 2018.
Next is one of the games that I'm kind of excited for on the Switch is Kirby Star Allies. And throughout this game, you're going to be able to play with 3 other players, or in the single-player mode, Kirby will be able to throw 3 other hearts to enemies out there to make them allies. And there's a new mechanic out there, which is pretty cool, where you're going to be able to combo different abilities that you and your allies have together. So, like, if Kirby has a sword and you're with one of the ice enemies, you're going to be able to make, like, an ice sword or something like that. So you're going to be able to combine all these different abilities, make them pretty cool. You got 4 players all together, pretty much. That's going to be coming out in spring 2018. And with this game comes the meme of all memes, Buff DDD. If you've seen a picture of him, people have been freaking out. And It's very interesting. If you haven't seen a picture of Buff DDD, you should take a look. He's pretty interesting.
That was one of the most. That was pretty interesting when I saw that. I kind of laughed at that when I saw that. And then wrapping up the Nintendo Switch headlines that they had, a few games that are going to be coming soon. Lost Sphere, which is going to be launching on January 23rd. Sonic Forces, which launches November 7th. Then we have Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2, which are going to be coming out on November 28th. And then a game from Rockstar, which hasn't worked with Nintendo in nearly a decade. They're going to be coming back on the Switch and working with them on a game called a.k.a. Noir. If you want to talk a little bit about that, Josh.
Yeah, that's going to be coming out with all the DLC that has been released, and plus new collectibles and the detective mode in it. You're going to be able to use the touch screen on the Switch, and that's going to be used for your detective mode for a.k.a. Noir, which is pretty cool. And two other games that I just want to chuck in there just a little bit that are pretty popular games coming out for the Switch. You got Super Meat Boy Forever coming out in 2018, and Runbow, which wasn't announced in the Nintendo Direct, but that's coming out in holiday 2017 for the fans of that. And on to our last big topic of the show, the one that they waited last for in the Direct, something that most people bought their Switches for back in March, other than Breath of the Wild. Super Mario Odyssey. It's coming back. Going to be launching on October 27th. Going to be a great game coming out here in the style of all the greats, such as Super Mario Galaxy or Super Mario Sunshine, all those great games.
Yeah, they're bringing that kind of a mechanic back. So, of course, we know the story that Bowser, of course, captures Peach. But this time around, instead of just capturing her and keeping her captive, he's actually going to try and marry her. So one of the main characters that's going to be working with Mario, named Cappy, which we have seen information about earlier, his drive for the game is that Bowser stole his sister tiara, which quite literally is a tiara. So props for creativity on that one. So Mario is going to team up with Cappy, and Cappy is going to be giving Mario abilities such as, of course, we've seen the possession, so he can possess different characters. Literally, just about anything that you can think of, you can pretty much just like go in and become T-Rex. You can become a Goomba. Bullet Bill was featured. A Hammer Bro. All sorts of different things.
That's going to be bringing in quite a different mechanic, but it's going to be pretty interesting, especially playing as all these different versions of enemies with a Mario cap and a mustache on. It's going to be pretty interesting to see and play with. But it's going to be pretty cool. Excited for that. You got all these different kingdoms that they announced. You got New Donk City, the Toast Arena, Mount Vobano, the Steve Bonnet Town, which is actually where Cappy and Tiara are from. You got Chiveria, which is they showed in the trailer as the winter-esque place where Mars freezing.
And it was a newly announced area, I believe.
Yes.
We also have Fossil Falls and Bubble Air are also available areas in the game. And you traverse these areas with the main hub, the ship, which is a hat called the Odyssey. It's a giant floating hat, which is really kind of cool. And it's a pretty interesting take. They kind of took the mechanic from Super Mario Galaxy 2, where you had Mario's head, and they kind of turned it into a hat, and that's what you use to travel around. It's powered by power moons. And you can use different things, like you can talk to a Talkatoo, which is the hint system in the game. They also have hint toads, or you can use amiibos to find locations of items in the game.
For these power moons. And these power moons are going to be spread out everywhere in this game. They said that, on the map, you're only going to need a certain amount of power moons to get past into another area, but I mean, there's going to be an enormous amount of power moons to be able to find in different areas throughout all these different kingdoms. So, and they said that if you found them all, you got a little surprise, which not sure what they're going to get, but if it's something like Breath of the Wild and finding all the little Korok seeds, I'm going to be a little angry, because trying to find all these Korok seeds, there's over like 900 Korok seeds in Breath of the Wild, and
I think they said about 600, over 600 I heard wind of in Odyssey is how many power moons there
Oh
are.
my god. Jeez.
Oh man.
Poor
Completionists.
completionist. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah.
But it's going to be good for a good adventure. You're going to be able to do different things to get these power moons and stuff. They also announced within this game that there's going to be a store in each of these kingdoms called Crazy Caps, which is where we see Mario in these different costumes, such as the Dr. Mario outfit or the Super Mario Maker outfit. That you're going to be getting these in the different kingdoms.
You also have a poncho and a sombrero for Toast Arena, and you're like, ha ha! you kind of do a jig with that on. It was kind of cool. So I touched on Amiibo, where you're using them to find the locations. But the Amiibo that they're going to be launching with the game are all the wedding outfits for Mario, who's going to grant temporary invincibility if you use his Amiibo. Peach, which is a Life Up heart. And then Bowser is going to reveal all of the regional coin locations of wherever you're at. And then they also announced with Super Mario Odyssey they're going to do a special bundle of the Switch that's going to be coming out with the game. They're going to do a special carrying case that's going to come with it. They're releasing a new color of the Joy-Cons. We already have the neon red Joy-Cons, but they're going to release a regular red Joy-Con that's going to be coming with that. So they're kind of keeping in track with releasing bundles for major releases of games. We saw Splatoon 1 earlier this year with the launch of Splatoon, and now they've announced one for Super Mario Odyssey as well.
Oh. They should have started it out with Breath of the Wild with that bundle, but I won't complain, I guess, because they've corrected their stuff, and now they're getting bundles out with a game with the system, so that way you do have something in order to play with that it does come with, and it's gonna, the bundles are actually a pretty good deal for what you're going to be getting for the money that you're going to be spending. So for those who don't have a Switch just yet, you have all these different retailers to go to, and it's going to be pretty good. Go ahead and pick up your Switch and snap into it, I guess.
Yeah. So that pretty much covers all of the major topics that we wanted to talk about with today's show. So we're going to use the last 8 minutes or so. We're going to kind of talk about what to expect for future shows that we're going to have going on throughout this semester. So you guys are going to be listening in to us every Friday at 9. We're going to be coming on live every Friday at 9. And then up next, we have an hour block that's going to be just some radio music that's going to be coming. And then at 11, we're going to have another show that's going to be going live that you guys can listen to. There's a lot of great programming that's going to be coming this semester with everybody here at Radio WUMD. I'm really excited for the upcoming semester, and I encourage you guys to kind of explore and see the different DJs that we have on the air, and kind of give them some love too.
Remember, for our show though, I just last night I created a little Facebook page, so you can search Nintenbros on Facebook. Give us a like. I'll be posting about all the different things that we'll be talking about here coming up soon, and all the different stuff that me and Chris have kind of shared with you guys.
And you guys, you can catch me on Facebook. Of course, you can just search up my name online. And then, of course, Nintenbros on the Facebook page. Radio WUMD. There's a page for WUMD. Go ahead and go like them on Facebook. I'm not 100% sure if we have a Twitter account, but if we do, go ahead and give Radio WUMD a follow there as well.
And for all those Android users out there, there's an app that you can listen directly from, so that way you don't have to go to the website. It's called Radio FX. You can download that, search WUMD on it, and you'll be able to listen in to all these different shows and us at 9 a.m. Remember that? And
yeah. So basically, what to look forward to for this semester is more of this style of a program. We are a talk show. Every week, we're going to have a different soundtrack playing hopefully next time I'll be able to get it up and running a little bit quicker. But for now, that was a little bit of a misstep on my spot, but it's not going to happen again. I promise you guys. So we're going to keep up with our Nintendo news. Of course, it's just something that we've always, for now almost a decade, we've been kind of attached to. So we're going to be keeping up with the Nintendo news. If anything breaks within a week, we'll probably put a show together. We'll put a blurb in about it. And then over the next couple of weeks, everybody in the station is going to be finishing up their drops. So you're not going to have to listen to us for a solid hour. We'll have a couple of spots where we'll have ads, and we'll have everybody else's shows. So we'll be sure to keep everybody else in the loop. So we're going to end the show a little bit early. It was fantastic that everybody listened in. It was great for the first show. I enjoyed myself. I'm pretty sure you did too, Josh.
Oh, it was pretty good. I'm excited. I'm happy that we're doing this. It's all good. Thanks for everyone listening in, everyone that we did a shout-out for.
And, of course, later on in the semester, as we get everybody kind of acclimated to everything, we might open up a small segment where people can call in and kind of offer their own personal opinions on our topics. We want to try and keep it to that. I don't mind having people calling in, but if we get a lot of people that are just calling in just for fun, just to say hi, that's fine.
We'll probably say that for the end of the show, though, if it's going to be something like that.
Yeah. So
but
just
we'll work with that.
Keep an ear out for that, and just bear in mind that we're not going to be doing too much of that. And then last, but certainly not least, this was kind of like a little last-minute thing that we were announced this morning. The SNES and the NES classic editions that are out there that are pretty much unicorns at this point. Those are actually going to be restocked, so that's pretty exciting. But I can imagine probably what's going to happen is they're going to go live and they're going to be gone in 15 minutes. Much in Nintendo's recently they've been doing a lot of that. So hopefully they've got the stock management figured out at that point. We'll hope for that. Yeah,
well, at least with the SNES coming out here, we got Toys R Us you're going to be able to go there and get one day of coming up here pretty soon at the end of this month. But with the NES, they're going to be coming out with that sometime next summer, I believe, is the time period in which that's going to be restocked. So those who aren't able to get it the first time around, you'll be able to hopefully get lucky and not have to pay for all the scalpers that are online and do all that. So
yeah, because nobody likes to do that.
Nope. So
all right. So thank you guys for listening into our show. For now, we will catch you guys next week. I don't know what the topic's going to be because, news is going to break probably this week. We'll keep our ears out for that. So thanks for listening in, and we will catch you guys next week. I'm Chris.
I'm Josh.
And this is Nintenbros. Thanks for watching.
Listening.